Sadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. It's Wednesday's edition, March the 5th of 2014. My name is Cholapansa Narula. In today's top stories, last night an MK2 grenade was thrown at the National Anti-Corruption Commission. Fortunately, no injuries have been reported. And in the business news segment, Thailand's SET index gained for a 6th day, up 0.5% on expectation of easing political tension. Let's have a look at today's headlines. Prime Minister Yingluck told the military to help guard against drives towards separatism and told cabinet ministers to avoid creating conditions that might add fuel to the fire. As the Minister of Defense, Ms. Yingluck asked the armed forces commanders to help provide internal security oversight in every province. She told the military that focus should be on groups that were likely to commit legal offences or act outside the framework of the Charter. She also said all groups in all localities should be treated equally. The Prime Minister told reporters she had already spoken to some ministers, asking them to avoid inflaming tensions through their speeches. The UDD had also been told to do the same. Defence Ministry spokesperson Thanathip Sawangsang said after the meeting of the Defence Council that the Prime Minister expressed concerns over ideas of separating the country, which were recently expressed by certain groups. Colonel Thanathip said the armed forces commanders had been asked to prevent acts of separatism or unlawful acts. The Centre for Maintaining Peace and Order Director Chalerm Yubamrung believes political rallies by the People's Democratic Reform Committee or PDRC will drag on for several more months because the anti-government group has not yet achieved its goal of overthrowing the administration. Police Captain Chalerm, CMPO Director, asserted that verdicts handed out by independent organizations were fueling the PDRC's hope of gaining victory against the government. He remarked that should the government be overthrown and an intermediary prime minister come into office, a huge number of people will take to the streets to object such development. Police Captain Chalerm added he was unconcerned with any filing by the Democrat Party to have the Pheu Thai Party dissolved. In the aftermath of Pheu Thai Party leader Charupong Rungsuwan's expressing his opinion regarding recent calls for the country to be split up. He indicated that in such a case, a new party could be formed, and he did not think Pheu Thai's MPs would move to other parties. The emergency decree in Thailand may be extended as the government fears there will be more violence as long as protests go on. According to Foreign Minister Surapong Towichakchaikun, the chief advisor of the CMPO, the state of emergency in the city of Bangkok could be extended until anti-government demonstrations end. He added that if the PDRC decided to carry on with its protests, more violent incidents would likely occur, adding that the emergency law would have to be in effect until the situation improved. The government invoked the 60-day state of emergency on the 21st of January after anti-government activities had escalated into attempts to topple Prime Minister Yingluck. However, Kun Surapong said it was up to the security forces, the army and the cabinet to decide whether the emergency decree should be extended. The current emergency law will expire on March the 22nd. And the first day of the registration period for senatorial election candidates proceeded without incident, with a total of 239 people registering for the race. Chiang Mai province saw the highest number of would-be candidates, 11 registering on the first day. In Bangkok, 5 people turned up before the opening hour of the registration venue, but only 3 were able to draw their numbers because 2 other people were unable to produce all the required documents. Now, former Crime Suppression Division Chief, Police Major General Pisan Pakdi Narunath drew number 1. Stop Global Warming Association Chairman Susi Suwanjanya drew number 2, while Ms. Lina Jongjanya drew up number 3. Of the 239 persons, 209 were male and 30 were female. Registration of candidates will take place until this Friday. The Election Commission has filed its petition with the Constitutional Court for a verdict on how re-elections can be organized in 28 problematic constituencies in the southern part of the kingdom. EC Secretary General Putchong Nutrawong disclosed that all 5 election commissioners had signed the petition concerning the re-election process in the 28 constituencies, where voting could not take place previously due to the lack of candidates. The document has already been submitted with the Constitutional Court, seeking deliberation on 3 issues, first of which is whether the EC has the power to issue an EC announcement to initiate a fresh round of elections. Secondly, if the EC is not authorized to do so, the petition asked the court whether the responsibility would fall in the hands of the Prime Minister in drafting a new royal decree, which is to be submitted for royal endorsement later on. Lastly, should a new royal decree is required, the court is questioned whether the decree would specifically apply to re-elections in the 28 constituencies or would cover all areas in the country. According to the EC Secretary General, these 3 issues have been the much debated topics between the EC and the government. Now, Kun Putchong affirmed that the EC would embrace the court's verdict once it was out and would put into action immediately. Also, the Election Commission has approved the government's request to use 20 billion baht from the state's contingency budget to pay off its debt to rice growers for the 2013-2014 crops. Election Commissioner Somchai Srisutiyakon revealed that the loan from the state budget had been approved during the Tuesday meeting. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Kittirat Naranong attended the meeting to clarify the budget request. The Department of International Trade has signed a contract with the Finance Ministry to secure the loan for the pledging scheme. And according to the contract, the 20 billion baht needs to be paid back by May 31st of this year. Mr. Somchai said the EC approved the request on the grounds that it has been deemed necessary for the scheme and the government's financial position would not be affected by the loan. The International Trade Department also confirmed that the sale of pledged rice stands at 8 billion baht per month, which is sufficient for a return of funds in the month of May. Most importantly, the EC confirmed that the decision was taken when they were assured that the loan would not create a burden for the incoming government. The government is struggling to raise funds to pay growers who are demanding money owed to them since October for their crop pledged under the government's program. We'll now take a short break. Up next, we'll take a look at what's happening in the business world. Don't go away.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thailand to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
Moving forward to the establishment of ASEAN community in 2015. The Public Relations Department has launched a 24-hour English language satellite TV channel, NBT World. Broadcast in C-band format, viewers can stay up to date on what's going on in Thailand and countries in the ASEAN region. NBT World can be watched by GMMZ set-top box on channel 194 and PSI set-top box on channel 198. NBT World, Voice of ASEAN Community.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at the stock markets now. Thailand's S&T index gained for a 6-day, up 0.5% on expectation of easing political tension, a day after foreign investors bought a net $35.17 million worth risky assets. Foreign investors have offloaded a net $3.9 billion worth of Thai shares since November through Friday due to the political turmoil, according to Reuters. Sentiment has improved after anti-government protesters retreated to a central bank park, freeing up traffic after blocking big intersections for more than a month in their bid to push out Prime Minister Yingluck. Shares of airports of Thailand were up 2.8% by Monday after a 3.2% rise on Monday. The airport operator could benefit from easing political situation in Bangkok. Philippine and Malaysian stocks fell on Tuesday as concerns over mounting tensions in Ukraine kept investors on the sidelines despite positive data from the U.S. Malaysia's main share index, meanwhile, was down 0.2%, led by financials, with CIMB Group Holdings losing 1.1% by Monday. All right, to find out more about the market situation, joining us now is Kun Sukbir Kanijor, who is the Vice President, Corporate Business Strategy of the Bank of Ayutthaya. Sawasdee Kun Sukbir.
Yes, Sawasdee Kapom.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Now, what is your assessment on the financial outlook in Thailand?
Well, I think that there are two factors, of course, for the Thai market. One is, of course, the political situation, which has been going on over the last few months, and it seems to be a little bit eased now. But of course, I believe that the protests will not end soon, and that will also help to. But whatever over the last few days that has happened, with Kun Suthep has taken off some of the stages or from the streets that help to ease the tension, and but we have to see if the election, which is still not yet completed, if that can be still, if the election still can go on and completion over the next few weeks, then of course that will also help to push up the markets. And the other factor, of course, is the world markets that also has affected our local markets. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have seen the tension over the last few days from Russian invasion, but since President Putin has said that there would be no invasion on the Ukraine, eastern part of Ukraine, that also helped release some tension overall in the world markets, and Thailand has also benefited on that.
I see. So basically, the relief that the SET has been seeing in the past few days could be temporary. Is that what you think?
Well, yeah. If we take into consideration the local political situation, so I think we'll still have to see what exactly will happen. Particularly on the election results, if that will be announced officially or not, if there will be new elections, since the EC has already submitted, I think today they're going to submit to the Constitutional Court to consider on that. And if, whatever the results, if things move in a positive way, that means even if there will be a new election, that would also help to drive the market. But as of now, I think we will not see any big jump or any surprise, at least for over the next 1 or 2 weeks.
I see. Now, as for the risks you mentioned, obviously the internal risk we see is the political uncertainty, which is still ongoing. But as for the external risks, is the Ukraine crisis the main risk that we should be watching for now?
Yes. President Putin says that there would be no immediate need, but he didn't say that he would not do it at all. So the risk still remains, but however, if we look at the global economic indication, particularly from IMF, which expects 2014 to be better than 2013, particularly from the emerging markets and developing markets, which would be the main driver of the world economy as a whole. IMF expects world economy to grow at 3.7% as compared to 3% in 2013. So that would be, I think, one of the main drivers. And also we note that President Obama has already submitted budget $3.9 trillion and expecting the GDP to expand at 3.1% in 2014 after just 1.9% last year. That would also be another main driver for the world markets overall.
I see. So the picture actually across the world is looking good for the year 2014.
Yes.
Now back to Thailand, Kun Supir. Although things seem to have eased somewhat in the past few days, how do you suggest the business sector to cope with the current uncertainty, which is obviously still there?
Well, I think our market has already seen and taken the news on the negative outlook of the politics over the last few months. And if you note that 1300 index was quite strong, and people have already consumed all these negative outlook. Over the next few weeks or few months from today, I think people or investors are very confident that our economy should start to pick up overall as compared to the world economy overall.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Kun Supir, for joining us today.
All right. You're welcome.
Have a good day. That was the Vice President, Corporate Business Strategy section of the Bank of Ayutthaya, Kun Supir Kanajor. Now, moving on to an update on the rice situation. Pitted rice growers participating in the rice mortgage program have just received another 134 million baht from the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, or the BAAC. Rice farmers in Pitted province lined up at branches of the BAAC to get the checks for their 2013-2014 pledged rice after the government had allocated 134 million baht to 14 BAAC branches in the province's 12 districts. According to the bank, it has already paid out a total of 3 billion baht to 16,000 rice growers, with roughly 40,000 more farmers waiting for their payments worth around 7 billion baht altogether. The government's rice pledging scheme was initiated by Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra-led government. Its aims is to uplift the quality of life of Thai farmers, as well as to help them generate income and create stability. And before we take a break, let's have a quick look at the commodity prices and also the exchange figures.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Caretaker Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra is scheduled to visit northeastern provinces from March 5th till the 8th in a bid to receive first-hand accounts of the developing drought crisis. Ms. Yingluck's tour of the northeast will take her to Khon Kaen, Sakolnakhon and Mukdahan. After the visit, she plans to return to Bangkok to attend the funeral of Somdet Praputtajanto Promarangsee. Many provinces have already been declared drought disaster zones. In Chiang Mai, 2 more districts badly hit by the drought are set to be declared disaster zones too. Nearly 10,000 households have been affected by water shortages. Most of the province's lower areas are experiencing the dry weather as they are located in the downstream reaches of the river. And a total of 16 provinces have been classified as drought disaster areas, most of which are located in the northeast as mentioned, while disaster declaration is being considered for 2 districts of Chiang Mai province as well. As reported by the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, the department has so far designated 16 provinces as drought-stricken zones in a bid to allow assistance for the local residents. 5 of the provinces are in the northeastern part, namely Buriram, Mahasarakham, Khon Kaen,ศรีสะเกษ Chayapum, whereas 4 are in the north, 3 in the central plains, 3 in the east and 1 in the south. The declaration of drought emergency opens the way for the budgets of those provinces to be allocated to local communities for use to alleviate people's hardship from the shortage of water. The funds can also serve as compensation to agriculturists whose farmland has been devastated by drought. In addition to the 4 drought-hit northern provinces, which consist of Uttaradit, Sukhothai, Phra and Tak, authorities in Chiang Mai are considering designating the province as another drought disaster zone. 2 of the province's districts, which are Doi Tao and Chai Prakan, are currently faced with severe drought conditions. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Newsline. If you have any suggestions or comments, please write to us. The email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Simply type NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/newseng. I'm Cholapan Sanarula. Thanks for joining. See you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ